All
Do
right.
we evaluate as you're going along?
I think
or do
so.
You can.
I
There's
think so,
not
yeah.
like,
Okay, action.
Okay. Okay, my name is Joanna, as you all know, and I have a hard time sitting down and reading text and getting it. I have to move around and I have to hear it. I can't read it myself. I can, but it's harder for me. So I record myself reading my textbook, or I have my fiance read it, and I'll listen to it like I'm at the gym. Because I am an auditory learner, I'm also a bit of a kinesthetic learner. That's how I accommodate my learning style. And I'm sure you guys all know about learning styles. We're all in the education department. So that's what my presentation is going to be on. There are 3 main learning styles. We've got the kinesthetic, auditory, and visual. There's actually 70 theorized learning styles. We're not going to through all those. There are 7 main that come up with. So I'm going to go through the 7, briefly talk about them. So we've got auditory, which is me, where I have to hear someone talking it to me. I have trouble reading like small print. If there's audiobook, that's what I'm going to get. The visual learner, they like graphs, they like charts, they like maps. They need to see it. Physical, kinesthetic, much more learn on the job. Like those people that when they get something new, instead of they throw the instructions out, they just build on hands. The verbal learners, which is kind of similar to the visuals, they need a lot of visuals as well, but they like to talk through information. So they talk through a concept. They talk to other people, and that's how they get a new understanding. The logical one, which every time I think of Spock, someone who has to hear something logically and understand it logically, which is what my fiance is. So it's funny, it's different that way. Social, people that do really well in study groups, like to talk to different diverse people, get different points of views. That's how they get their information. And then the opposite of that, which is the solitary learner, which is like, leave me alone. I want to sit and read this book, and I'm going to figure it out myself. So based on these styles, do you guys know what you already are already? What would you identify as? Just right offhand.
The graphs.
Graphs,
I like
visual.
graphs, charts, visual. Mm-hmm.
Visual. What about you?
I'm visual and hands-on.
Oh,
Okay.
forgot to put that in. There are a lot of children who identify as multiple learners, which is what I also am. So we're also multiple learners. I'm glad you brought that up. What about-
Kinesthetic.
Kinesthetic? Only?
Visual.
Visual? Oh, that's interesting. Well, with math, I could see that. Okay. So I found out something kind of shocking when I put this together, that people don't believe in learning styles. Like, associative psychological sciences say that they don't exist, and it's kind of a waste of time. That there's really no scientific research to prove that they really exist. And there's also teachers that believe they don't exist, or they're kind of, I don't want to say lazy, but this is how I teach, this is how I've always taught. I'm going to teach in a lecture mode, and that is how I'm going to get it done. It's easier for them. They don't have to put as much work into it. So that's a real struggle for someone who, like, automatically I'm kinesthetic, and they have to struggle to get over that. And there is ways to do that. Anne Murphy wrote a really good book where it's talking about how to combat those by studying with people who are different learning styles than you, or you can push yourself. There is a way to learn other learning styles. You just have to work even harder at it. Now, there are a lot of benefits to working toward learning styles. It doesn't hurt. You're not going to harm a child by doing, like, instead of doing a word problem, you get out measuring cups. It's not going to hurt them. It says that all students do benefit from various styles of learning, different techniques, and as long as they're learning something and it's interactive, it shows that it eases their anxiety about school. It makes it more fun. It feels like a community. I actually interviewed a local teacher who'd been working for 20 years in the school system, and I showed her the research that said that it didn't exist, and we were on the phone, and she hung up. She got so angry at me. Shut up, I don't believe you. I don't care what you say. Learning styles exist. And she said that the people that write these studies aren't in the classroom. They don't work with them every day. They're people that have worked in a classroom in 20 years. And the teachers that know who get the best results are the ones that work with the kids every day. They see the different ways to not make them bored with the same material over and over again. So she also said something really interesting in her interview. She said that the different techniques that she's tried, using graphs, using maps, getting out smart boards, different approaches, it has made the apprehensive learners some of her brightest learners. And my idea for the future with learning styles, I feel like learning styles and interesting techniques kind of drop off at middle school. Like when we get to high school, we're preparing you for college. Here's these long lectures. And so I feel like that's why I came to Columbia College is we have a smaller campus. The teachers, like Miss Dr. S, they try different things. We're talking more. I don't think you get that at bigger universities. And I feel like bigger universities, they lose a lot of kids academically. And that is the end of my presentation.